Welcome once again, Morality Family, to Moral Calibration. Right now, today we want to talk about a question that I get posed to me very often over the course of the last 8 to 10 years. Homeschooling. Do homeschool children have an issue with their ability to be social? Does homeschooling affect a child's social achievements or their social personality? Does it develop the same as a child that goes to public schools or some other source of schooling outside of homeschooling? I'd like to know, what do y'all think? Comment down below, let me know. I'd like to know what the people think on this topic in this day and age as we go through an interesting time where before COVID, homeschooling was struggling to survive as a society. The homeschooling society continues to struggle. However, since COVID, it got a boost. That society got a boost in recognition, in respect, in a whole lot of things. So I'd just like to know today, as we re-examine certain questions that seem to have slightly different answers, maybe perhaps after COVID, post-COVID times, as people have different perspectives. I'm curious, does homeschooling a child affect their social personality? And if so, in what way? What are the pros and cons of their social? Regardless, they have social personalities, so is there pros and cons to the social personality that a child develops from homeschooling? Like I said, I get the question often from people who never asked it before, to a person that actually homeschools. We've been homeschooling for, our oldest child is 10. Now, right now at this time there's 3 children, and 10 is the oldest. And homeschooling, it has pros and cons. So what do you all think? Does homeschooling affect a child's social personality? I can speak from my experience. My daughters, they're very social. We do outside activities, so I can't speak for parents on behalf of children that homeschool and don't go to outside activities, or very rarely. Not that we do it extremely frequently, but we make it a point to include outdoor activities, whether it's science class, science day, outdoors, interacting with nature, or going to parks. Libraries are huge. Libraries play a huge part in the homeschooling. And in libraries, because of the types of programs they have there, they stimulate social advancement, So a lot of the social education comes from the activities. But otherwise, other than going outside to interact with outsiders, there are things you can do in the house that can stimulate social achievements too. There are things that you can do at home that can stimulate a child's social personality evolving. Just for example, the internet alone, YouTube and the internet, plays a huge role in people interacting with people. Whether it's virtually or not, it's still some level of interacting with people and seeing a vast amount of different personalities in a short time of space. Forcing a child to be able to have to understand a whole lot of different personalities, or understand that there are a whole lot of different personalities without going through years of life to discover that for the average person. In New York, the average person in New York comes across many different races and ethnicities and nationalities here. So seeing different types of cultures is something that a New York child gets accustomed to. So that part adds to the social evolving too, because they get to see totally different perspectives. and cultures interact with each other and live amongst each other. So I went to public school, so I know about the pros and cons of your social life in public school, and I've been fortunate to know about the pros and cons of his social status when it comes to homeschooling, how children develop their social personality. I'm quite impressed, to be honest, with that part of it, because that is the number one question, me as a homeschooled parent, that is posed all the time. How about their social personality? How does that affect them being social? Oh, I heard their social skills will not be as sharp, or whatever. And I've been really trying to make an effort to look and see if there's a problem. And I can't really say that they're socially perplexed or declining in any way. I think, in fact, they're socially inclined. I think they're the ones, in most cases, that want to make friends or have the capacity to not be afraid to hold a conversation with a stranger and know how to hold an initial conversation with strangers, whether it be children, for the most cases it's got to be children, they get along pretty well out there with their friends, cousins, strangers at the park, and I see other children, and I don't know their status if they're homeschooled but I do see other children, and you can tell the difference in how some children open up to other children, how they play and interact with other children, so I'd love to know especially if there's any homeschoolers out there, please comment, let me know, let the world know what's up, let the world know the pros and cons, just specifically when it comes to the social skills that the children may develop or not develop when they're homeschooled. What are they? And for those two who have never homeschooled, or maybe tried homeschooling for a short time when COVID was in full effect, the majority sentiment there was, get these kids back to school. Their homeschoolers are still going strong. It's not an easy road. Homeschool is a big topic. We need to open up a new topic for homeschool and break it up into different topics, perhaps. But any specific questions out there that y'all might have for homeschooling? How you do it? How you get by? Any questions at all when it comes to homeschooling out there? Drop a comment. Any questions y'all have, or comments in general when it comes to homeschooling. If you want to hear more reality, morality, moral calibration messages, just tune in, subscribe, like, leave comments, send questions, send comments, suggestions, anything you like, everything you want to say it, open up. The world is vast, but knowledge is capsulated. Why?